from the First Street Studios in South Tampa, Florida, it's time for another round of Last Call 76 with your host, Dan, Jay, and behind the camera, the one and only Jess.
So what do we got here, man? That's pretty smooth looking. That's some new swag that we might be possibly making available to the public.
That's my 70s cup that I made because I wanted something really cool, obnoxious.
Yeah.
And I think we hit that. What do you think, Jessica? It's pretty cool, right? So anyway.
Well, hey, man, we need a cup like that full of our favorite beverage of choosing. If you're under the age of 21, I don't advocate drinking.
This is root beer.
This is root beer. I'm saying, no, we might drink something that doesn't have root in it, but this refereeing, man, and your shirt says it all.
Well, that's why I pulled out the cup for this episode, because I'm going to stand up here so you can read it, but you can read it to the audience. You can see how cool it looks.
Minx Inc., baby. After further review, I'm going to need another beer. I'm going to need a few beers after seeing some of the refereeing this year. It's awful.
So I think the biggest debate is the consistency.
Right.
So Roger Goodell made it a point to say that the refereeing has never been better.
Yeah.
But the problem is the fan base does not believe that. We see it in our comments all the time. I think we had 1,700 comments about refereeing after the Dallas-Detroit game. Let's just use that as one. But it's been bad all year. So after further review, I'm going to need another beer.
Yeah.
My New Year's resolution, I'm going to just break it for today.
Right.
I haven't been drinking at all, but I'm going to drink this root beer.
Yeah.
This is root beer.
Was it Heinz or A&W?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heinz.
Heinz.
Is that even a root beer name?
No. Yeah, isn't it? I don't know. It's root beer. I don't know.
What the hell are you talking about, bro? Root beer is like A&W. And what's the other one that's popular? Mugs?
Mugs. So I was thinking Heinz.
Now you're talking some ketchup and crap, man.
He's got ketchup in the damn cup.
All right. So anyway, I think getting back to everybody here and what their big concern is and how the NFL needs to address this.
Yeah.
Bargs.
IBC.
That's the Bar can. And IBC is like bougie though. That's like for rich people. It comes in a bottle.
Rich people's mad.
Yeah, we can't afford that here, man. So, but my point to it is, we have to get to a point where let the officiating go. It's always going to be an issue. We know that. Sometimes there's good crews, sometimes there's bad. But if it's going to come down to where it changes the game, then the last 2 minutes, how everything is reviewed, the referees' calls need to be reviewed too.
Yeah.
So it takes it out of the hands of the referees. If there's a debate, it goes up to, where's that at? Is it up New York?
New York, I think, it's either New York or Los Angeles.
Or wherever. But there has to be something done because here's what's going to happen. You're going to get now with all the social media, all the TikTok, everything, these refs are going to be, they're a media. They're in the media just like everybody else, right? They're a public figure. Okay, they make $200,000 a year.
Yeah.
Their referees are seen every week, and they're going to get scrutinized. And I'm not going to say no names, but the crew, especially in the Dallas, Detroit, I think they even made a rule saying that that team will not ref in the playoffs.
Right.
Now, did that stick? I don't know, but that's what was being said.
Right.
But at the end of the day, if you're asking a fan, and we talked about this before, if you're asking a family of four to drive from, let's say, Alabama, since we were on that last episode, and you drive down to Tampa, for this Philadelphia-Tampa Bay game. A hotel here in Tampa Bay during that weekend is $500 a night.
Oh, yeah.
So they're going to come in on Sunday, spend Sunday night and Monday night, and probably head back. So you're already in at $1,000 there. You're at $350 a ticket each. So it's $2,000 before meals.
And then park.
Right, Jess? So not to mention $40-50 to park, all the other things that come with that. So Roger Goodell, as the guy, so to speak, the commish, has a moral obligation to start either fining these referees as he does his players, or you're robbing the fan base.
Sure, absolutely.
And if you don't put a rule in place like the final 2 minutes, okay, we can put up with a lot of it but the final 2 minutes, if you just look at history and the analytics of it all, a lot of games change. And we'll get into the Elway deal with the Browns back in the day, right? When we had Ernest Biner and Kevin Mack back-to-back years. We'll get to that. But 2 minutes is a big deal to be reviewed.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't slow the game. I think right now the average NFL game is 3 hours and 22 minutes.
Something like that, yeah.
So you add another 2 minutes of review time, it's 10 minutes. So we're still at 3:30. We're within the, the television network space, so to speak. But something has to be done because you're stealing from the fans. So if you look at the Dallas Cowboys right now, yes, they appreciated the call and they won the game. But even they said, you hate to win games like that because we want to win the right way. Now, there are the extreme Dallas Cowboy fans that are like, yo, bro, we got it. We didn't have to break another TV today. Holy shit, Best Buy gets a week off, right? But for the average fan, they wanted to win that without controversy.
Right.
And on the flip side, Detroit entire fan base was like, holy shit, did that just happen? Excuse my language.
We're talking about the difference between a 2 seed and a 3 seed, them playing Green Bay versus the Rams.
Yes, it's a big difference, right? So that's what the commissioner owes the American people. Sure. I mean, you got people that are literally hundreds of thousands of people or 100,000 people are driving to support your organization. And the least you can do is either train your officials better, put them in camps like training camp, like the NFL does, even though they say they do, it's abundantly clear that they don't.
Right.
And you need to be at every practice. You don't see officials at practices.
No.
They should be at every spring training camp thing or whatever. They're making $200,000 a year. Mm-hmm. They don't need another job. You got soldiers that were at my level that are making $80,000. You're making $200,000 and work 1 day a week. Yeah. You need to be putting in the work and be at all those spring training scrimmages and get your reps in because you're technically embarrassing the league. I think Micah Parsons this year.
Yeah.
30 quarters without a holding penalty?
Bull.
Well, I'm not even I'm kind of converting now back to be a little bit of a Dallas fan because of the Ring of Honor. But 30 quarters of an edge rusher?
No way.
It's absurd. Like there's some kind of discrimination against Micah Parsons. I mean, you've seen it. Like 2 arms, a guard attack. I mean, it's blatant, hands in the face. They don't call nothing. I don't know what's going on, but I'll just tell you something, Raj. You need to get control of your league, bro. It's your referees. Some of them are good. Don't take that away. I know it's a responsible job, right? It's hard.
It's difficult.
But you cannot be dictating the outcomes of games. Now, we know the Chiefs deal, when they line up all sides, the refs were right there.
Right.
Okay? Because you're supposed to raise your hand. It's normal. But the Detroit game's a little bit different because the universal symbol, so people know, so you know, this is how you report as eligible. Right? Pretty simple. So they tried to play a little slicky boy, try to throw some, deception to the refs and the Cowboys, and it bit them. I'm not saying they're right or wrong, but it still should have been looked at. It should have been evaluated. All the refs should have had to meet together, have a conference, all of them. Oh, yeah. And for Christ's sakes, man, get a TV like that so the review people can see it. Referee head officials are old, man, and they're looking at a screen that the football players are looking at. That's how big it is. You got to help yourself here, and it's not going to get any better because the playoffs are coming, and now the emotions are even higher, and we're going to have referees that screw this up for the next 4 weeks, and we know that's going to happen, and people are going to get pissed. It's you know how you know? Because it happens every year.
It does. It never fails.
It never fails. The referee crew will destroy a football game in Super Wild Card Weekend. They'll screw it up next week. They'll screw it up in the championship week, and they'll screw up the Super Bowl, and with no penalty whatsoever. But yet you penalize the fans.
Oh yeah.
The one team that wins, the fans are happy.
The other team feels like they got the shaft.
The other team feels like they get the shaft, and at some point there's going to be a breaking point.
Exactly.
And then what you end up doing is you basically lose fans.
Exactly.
So what else you got to say? I mean, I don't want to go long on it, but...
I'll close my thoughts with this, though. I agree with 100% of what you said. I just want to finish up with this perspective. The refs get it wrong on a regular basis. I will say, though, there's this misconception that refs have favored one team versus another.
No,
they don't buy that crap.
They just suck.
They're inept. I think they favor players. The star players will always, and that's not just football, that's every sport. The star players will always get the calls 100% of the time. But there's no preferential favorite towards the Kansas City Chiefs or the Buffalo Bills or the Dallas Cowboys or the San Francisco 49ers. That's nonsense. So everything Dan said, I'm 100% behind. But let's stop this asinine narrative that the referees have it in the bag for one team versus the other. They don't.
No, I would just say they're incompetent.
Yeah, that's it. They're incompetent. They need better training.
And if that's the case, if there's I don't even know. I'm gonna take a guess. Is there 8 officials on the field?
I think so.
I think it's 8. Just add another 2 or 3.
You got enough money to do it?
I mean, it's not like it's hurting the NFL. They're a $1 billion industry.
Yeah, here.
So figure out something. But look, nobody's here on this show trying to be critical, but everybody agrees with me, right? Agrees with me.
Yeah.
That there is a problem. There is a fundamental cyclic problem amongst the league of referees. Yeah. And you have a commissioner in Roger Goodell that says it's the best it's ever been. And I would tell you that your fan base across the NFL, regardless of team, would disagree with you. And that's a fundamental problem for a guy that's making $50 million a year. And would you agree?
I would agree. Listen, when teams are losing games, teams are getting their playoff chances. You're talking the difference between a 2-3 seed and a 3 seed, or even a 2-6 and a 7 seed. A 2 seed and a 7 seed, and that's not insignificant. Even in a year like this, where don't know who's fish nor foul, that matters. And we've seen teams that have had Super Bowl outcomes in recent years get altered because of referee ineptitude, and that's not because they had the Chiefs favored over the Eagles, or just using that game as an example. That's not because they favored the Rams over the Bengals. Okay, it's because they're inept.
And you know what? And it doesn't have to be a financial penalty.
No.
Okay, so if they're only making $200,000, that's completely improportionate with what the players are making at league minimums at $900,000.
Right.
However, they have to sit out a game.
Right.
And they don't get paid for that game.
No, the ones that did it with the playoffs, I think that's a perfect penalty.
Right. So it doesn't have to be a financial thing, but there has to be accountability.
Yeah.
When you're holding coaches and you're holding players accountable, you have to hold the referees accountable.
Absolutely.
And the reason is because they are a part of the game.
Yeah, you're right. 100%.
Right? Otherwise, we're going to get that deal like the NBA happened, and we're going to have that deal on games, right? We don't want that. Mm-hmm. So stop it now. Have some clinics. Hire some better people, right? And quit playing your favoritism and start penalizing each other. Okay, but that's enough on that.
Before you cut it off, though, show off the cup and show off the shirt again, man.
Oh, yeah, it's awesome, man. Love it. Here we go. Appreciate it. Appreciate you following us. Probably not even going to drink
Inks Inc.
But it looked good for me.
And
the cup is so obnoxious you all want one. So thanks a lot. Subscribe. We appreciate you. We'll be back here in a couple shows in the near future. This episode of Last Call was brought to you by SJP Snapshots and Minks Inc. Clothing and Apparel.